So here's a few of my notes. Canadians really don't believe or agree in free speech because the problem is that if you have an opinion that's different from their agenda, they want you to shut up about it. They want free speech when it comes to, they want freedom when it comes to things that benefit their weird sort of ideas. Like I came across this press piece, I think we talked about on a general show once on a Sunday, but there was a case that was brought to the Ontario courts by a citizen of Canada that lives in Ontario that wanted medicine, that wanted the government free health care to pay for a operation that would provide him with both a penis and a vagina. Apparently, Canada doesn't have the facilities or the resources to perform said treatment, medical treatment, but they exist in Texas somewhere. I think it was Austin or something like that. Surprise, surprise. And he won. He won this appeal. So taxpayers are being forced to pay for this operation, which, I mean, if we're being honest, it's not cardiovascular health. It's not something to do with Alzheimer's. It's not something to do with, stepped on a landmine amputation. We need to get titanium or carbon fiber legs built or something like that. It's purely, I don't know, entertainment purposes. You can call it whatever you want. I'm trying to be mindful of my language, but you get the point. Like, if you have an opinion or statement made that goes against something that they don't like, then they'll just blanket call it hate speech. Now, again, this bill was presented under the guise of protecting children from online harm. Great, awesome story. Let me just summarize what it. So there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So there's a few points here that it's designed to protect. Intimate content communicated without consent. Sorry, content, not contact. Intimate content communicated without consent. Content that sexually victimizes a child or re-victimizes a survivor. That's a noteworthy topic for Alex Jones and that issue that he has, that he's dealing with right now with that huge fine. C, content that induces a child to harm themselves. Fine, let's protect children. Content used to bully a child. Now it's starting to get in the gray area. I'm not, like, every kid gets bullied in school. I got bullied, you got bullied, we all got bullied in school for something, right? I don't think bullying is that bad of a thing. So one of the things that this bill is going to include is it's essentially going to criminalize, because some of the penalties are going to be, like, the maximum penalty is life in jail, which is essentially the same as killing somebody, right? It's like equal to murder, to first degree murder. But content that is used to bully a child, what's the definition of that going to be? You know, is somebody on, like a kid on social media makes fun of somebody, another kid in, high school calls them fat or something like that, which is what we would have done very easily, when I was in school, in high school back in the day, no problem. It happened forever. Like, it's like bullying and shaming is kind of the same thing. Like, fat shaming works. It convinces people to improve their choices and their behaviors to get better results. Broke shaming works. You tell somebody that, they lack financial resources and they want certain things, and, they call them a brokey or something like that. Then they'll often go and do the work and be like, fine, I'll show you, sort of thing. So I don't know that it's important to bubble wrap children over bullying. There's certain, like, harmful ways where it might be done, but I think the definitions, which I'll explain in a sec, aren't being defined. It's basically being left to a committee. Let's keep going, though. The next one they have on here is content that foments hatred, content that incites violence, content that incites violent extremism or terrorism. Those are the main points of the bill. So the first 3 points deal with children. The remaining 4 points deal with essentially content that either bullies, is tied to hatred, incites violence, or incites extremism, terrorism, which you would think at first glance is, well, that's a good idea. We don't want those things, right? Hear me out. let's keep going. So we already talked about the bill operating under the guise to protect children from being exploited online. Now, this bill gives an agency, so it's a new regulator that's going to be created. So another government body is going to be created, a new agency to supervise platforms, make the rules, but we have no idea what the rules will be. Generally, when you pass a bill in Parliament, you state what the bill has and what the rules will be enforced. We use something like highway traffic safety, right? Like a speed limit. If you're going to pass a bill in Parliament that says highways will have a posted speed limit of 100 kilometers an hour, and you're not to exceed 100 kilometers an hour, and if you exceed 100 kilometers an hour, these will be the consequences, right? In this case, with these loosely worded bills, is they're not telling you what the rules are going to be. It's going to be up to the discretion of the new agency, the new regulator, to define the rules. So it's batshit crazy right from the get-go. It essentially gives them the authority to do what they think is best. There is no range of power specified at all. Things have gotten significantly worse since I dealt with this well over a decade ago. Government agency will police platforms, and then platforms will censor users. So wherever you're going to produce content, whether it's on social media, anything that is a platform that you have an app on your phone for, could be public, could be private, it doesn't matter. They will police the platforms, and then the platforms will be forced to censor the user based on that. They always design bills this way. It just gives them maximum authority, is what it does at the end of the day, which is what they were seeking. They're not seeking to provide us with more freedom. They're not seeking to improve our lives. What they're seeking to do when legislation is written is to provide maximum authority to the government agency or the regulators that have the ability to change the course of your life. They could, again, the penalties that they've included in the bill include life imprisonment, include $50,000 fines. So as an example, you could say, I am a strong advocate for fossil fuels, and I like the internal combustion engine, and I think they're great, and electric cars suck. That could be deemed as hate speech in this loosely worded bill. I don't know if this actual clip that I'm stating right now, if they can go back in history, they could go back 10 years and find something that you said online and lock you up and put you in jail. But the potential exists because the legislation is so broadly written without specifics, giving the regulator, the government agency, the authority to essentially define whatever they want whenever they feel like it, once they have that power. Bills like this always delegate the authority to make rules and guidelines to the bureaucracy, and then figure out the details of those rules later on. So again, the bill is introduced with ideas in it, but not with the details that are going to offer the protection measures. Just the idea, we don't want hate, we don't want bullying, we don't want anything that incites, violence, stuff like that, which sounds great on the surface. It makes it easy for them to pass these bills because the vast majority of the public, when they see these things, the vast majority of the critics on the bill are just going to be like, that's totally fine. As long as I get my pension, I'll vote on that, no problem, right? They don't think about the downstream consequences of it. Again, so, we've covered the rules not going to be defined in the bill, but this is how legal systems are supposed to work. This is how they generally work in places in the world where legal systems are squared away properly. It's like, you're going to introduce a bill, the legal system then defines what is good and what is bad, i.e. highway traffic safety, good, 100 kilometers an hour and under is safe on the highway. Bad, 100 kilometers and over, bad on the highway. There's consequences. Fine. If you go too fast, they may seize your vehicle. They may suspend your license for 2 weeks. There might be a $10,000 fine, stuff like that. Straightforward things. But in this bill, there's no definitions included, and it's going to be up to the new agency or regulator to define those as they see fit. Here's the problem with that. A lot of the time when you speak the truth online and you create content, and this applies to me, you, and anybody else out there that offers an opinion, even if you're not public, even if you use an anon account, I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be verification steps for you to own social media when this bill passes, where they have to have an uploaded piece of government ID, maybe your driver's license or a passport or something like that, so they know who you are behind the scenes, even though you hold out publicly that you're anon. I wouldn't be surprised if that requirement will be made true, because again, the government agency is going to police the platforms, so they're going to set the rules for the platforms. The platforms then have to enforce the censorship that the policed rules are set by the government regulator. Not the bill, not the lawyers that pass the bill or anything like that. It's what they want to write after they have the authority to write whatever the hell they want. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.